Okay, on that note, we are going to move on to the next item on our agenda, which is a P3 presentation from AI.
We will have time to do a Q&A session, hopefully. We'll get into some of those details a little bit more into the presentation. Next slide, please. There needs to be certain criteria that we'll get into in one of the next few slides, in which we talk about what are the right aspects for a P3 to be considered in terms. Next slide, please. I think there's one slide missing. Can you go to the next one, please, Jonathan? Or the previous one, please. We might have jumped. All right, so.
That's what we all have.
Yeah, all right. I'm sorry about that. So, well, I meant to talk about the delivery mechanism.
If you wanted to pull it, it's later in the deck.
Okay.
You can have Jonathan slide to it. The structure slide, Jonathan. There
Yeah,
you go.
thank you, Jonathan. Yeah. So I think this is probably one of the best slides here to basically to communicate,
Can I just remind you that we have a certain amount of time for this presentation, and I'm noticing that it's actually quite a bit longer than I think even the time we have for the presentation. And if anybody wants to ask any questions, we're going to need to go through the presentation.
All right. We'll try to move faster.
How much time do you have?
Well, we started a few minutes late, but I'm thinking till about 12:25.
Okay.
If we,
So,
yeah.
Thank you.
And I know that that would be for the total, right, including questions,
okay.
yeah.
Can we go back, please, Jonathan, to the previous slides? All right. One more. All right, some critical issues in K through 12. I don't think we want to spend too much time on this, but
Can I ask you to just sort of summarize this? Because I do want to leave 10 minutes for questions, and I know that there are people who would like to ask questions about this model.
Yep.
Thank you.
I will finish with just a couple comments here about funding versus financing, Jonathan. So I just wanted to make sure that we touched on those items. I would have liked to have a bit more information about Prince George's County, but I want to be conscious of time.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I would love to hear more about it if we have time in the future, or I could just reach out to you personally to understand a bit more. I will hold my comments for a later time and just ask this one question because I know we're running short on time.
Mr. Lubley, did you want to respond to that?
Very quickly.
Very quickly.
So the
Because we have
slide-
4 more hands up, and I just want the hands to recognize I see them. Okay. Okay, Ms. Gates? Good afternoon, right? Yes.
Good afternoon.
I had to look at the clock to see if it was afternoon. It is, yes.
Good afternoon, everybody. Just a couple of things. So one.
Did that answer your question, Ms. Mosley?
Does that answer your question?
Not really. No, but we'll talk some other time about it because I think there might be some better process in that process improvement in that whole dynamic so that it is explicitly clear.
Yeah, I tried to keep it short a bit. I have 2 questions. So one question is really the funding.
I knew there would be a lot of questions here.
Yeah.
And just to address the second question, because I realized that we didn't do that very quickly.
I have a couple things I want to add. First, I hope that we can get a copy of this presentation, or even better, honestly, if this could be presented at a board meeting, we will give you the time. We will make the time, we will give you the time, and we will ask so we can ask the questions, because for us, this was really important, even more so than the last topic we just spent a lot more time on. And I'm going to just say, like, maybe we can do it at the board meeting because we will give you the time.
This is like a 2-hour conversation, and we only have 2 hours for the entire board meeting. So, yes, there is a lot more information here. We have a copy of the presentation, so yes, and you do too. Mallow.
for board members.
Yeah, I just wanted to respond quickly. Obviously, we can provide as much color and detail as necessary in upcoming meetings.
Of people who would love to see schools being delivered more quickly. Whether or not we can afford it is another question, but we're going to move on to how can we fund this wonderful idea?